Today, it's all about you and giving you something that you can take with your two hands and really run with it. I wanted to talk to you about magnetic moves, the way to be scaling your legacy without scaling the hustle, because it's usually what we've been witnessing, that the more we grow in our own business, the more we have to sacrifice and the more we have to hustle and work harder and less time to sleep either or family. There's of course season of time where we have to work a bit more, but it's something that we need to be aware that that shouldn't be the what we strive for. We're not striving to work more. We are striving to set up beautiful foundation with working investment of time within it, so we can actually withdraw a bit more and actually gain back the time and be able to scale with ease and flow, which I'm all about. And I know if you follow me for a while, you know. So I'm going to take you to 3 keys today because I feel like it's going to be so important if we're actually going and focusing in for only 3. So the first one is ditching the strategy overload and really leaning towards energetic embodiment, in where we actually focus more on the presence of self and the impact that we give, more than adding more into a to-do list. If you want to have some reference about that as well, I really recommend you to go read a couple of books, but the one that comes to my mind right now is The One Thing. I really recommend you to go and listen to that or hear or read it actually. And it's going to be like, it's where we actually get to go faster when we are reducing the amount of things that we have to do to the essential things that we have to do. We get to go faster because instead of having 14 and diluting ourselves 14 times, we are actually taking all the 14 times that you're diluting yourself into one, so you go faster and this gets easier and like this gets done faster, so you can get more and more done afterwards instead of like deleting and like getting it done very long period of time. So it's about really about the some level of strategy, but a strategy with it with your magnetism as well. I know if you're here, you are desiring to create some level of legacy within your own business. Legacy scaling really start with the outcome in mind. If you don't have the outcome in mind, it's going to be much harder because you're going to face some hurdles, because that's part of the challenges for growth that will make you question everything. If you do have the outcome in mind, you already know where you're going and you know what you want to build. All those challenges are just steps for you to rise into the biggest version of who you're supposed to be and really step forward into your newest level of authority. That very strong, deep knowing that what you want and where you like the way you're doing it is exactly what you're supposed to go forward. And it's also really leaning forward into the idea that presence is way more important than anything else. Presence and impact instead of endless to-do list that never gets done, because when you sit down and you look at the 100 tasks you have to do, you don't want to do any, or you're going to take the one that feels like going to take the less time possible, but they're not the very priority. When we really step into our own magnetism, our own energetics, we get to choose what is the direction we want to go, the outcome in mind, but also what are the tasks right now that we can do to just climb for further and further towards our path. And it's one step forward, one at a time. But there is about a part of us that want to do 14 at a time. But if you do 14 at a time, it's going to be ants little step instead of you using your whole velocity of your own body to take one step forward, but like a deep, strong step. And that leads us to the key 2, which is about streamlining, simplicity for amplifying. Simplify to amplify. It's so important when we are when coming back to the idea of the outcome in mind. If you have the outcome in mind, you know where you're going. And it's about now to really see what are the simple one step, one thing that can be done today, tomorrow, the next day, and so on and so forth, that's going to bring your business to a new new layer of authority. Also, bring yourself with it, because it's about that when you do energetics and you have the outcome in mind. I'm sure if you really did some visualization, you will see that your mind, your body, and your spirit are all on board. It's not just one over the other. This is the difference between when you go into a full energetic embodiment, when towards quintessence, instead of going through hustle. Because if you go through hustle, there is one of the three at least that is not on board with the direction you want to do. And it's all about, if we come in a whole version of ourselves and we really step into simplifying, and we work about streamlining everything within our business to make it simple, so we actually get more time to be able to implement. We also have time to sit down, rest, and meditate, so we can get very clear vision of the next step. We can have that very deep clarity that feels extremely scattered when we are in the hustle version of ourselves, because we are completely, there is part of us that is completely disconnected. But when we are stepping back, we with the really connecting back to the outcome, where we're going, becoming the multi-millionaire that you desire to be, this is where you step down and you really see each step as a very crucial step forward, and you treat it that way with really regard of, I'm doing this because I know this is moving the sheep faster. It actually makes it go for further along into the direction I want to create. Also, it's about right now sitting down and having a look overview of all your business and do an audit. What is currently not working? What is currently working could be improved, and what is actually not needed anymore? Because there's a lot of systems that you may have set in place that are clunky, that are not simple, like that are not simple, and that creates dissonance within yourself. So you're actually disconnecting a little bit with your outcome, because there's a lot, like that's the big elephant in the room, and it's about addressing the elephant in the room, so you can maybe let it out of the room, or actually creating that game plan that one step at a time you get to achieve that. And the third key, it's all about building for longevity and not just momentum, because momentum is really leaning into the next launch, the next outcome, the next money coming in. But if we're actually building for longevity, we are creating now a brand that is evolving into the next elevation, the next bigger figures that you want to create, but also the next authority that you know that you want to really take yourself towards. True legacy gets to be created by planting seeds today that's going to be growing over the month, years to come. And it's about creating assets right now, that it's going to be relationship, your own business system, that's going to be that will deliver value over the years, because everything that you do now will are planting seeds for you to grow into this big massive version of who you want to become. Building longevity is also building assets, where your brand, it really plays a big role, your own system and your own relationship, where you hang out with people, what is your networking, how is your system working, are they simple or are they clunky, what is your relationship with people, but also your brand, what is your brand is portraying. And your brand usually is actually way forward than where you are right now. The reason why is you know where you want to go. So by wanting to know where you want to go with the outcome in mind, you have to portray the outcome in mind, so you can actually get your own self growing into the capacity to reach that level. But if you are getting it, that's the reason I like branding and really like seeing the brand as a very big extension of your own business universe. Because when you see the brand is there 24/7 to represent you, and every given time. So that's the reason it has to be streamlined. It must be easy for you. It doesn't have to be like extremely complicated, because the more complicated it is, the less content you can bring forward. It has to be identifiable. So if someone comes and like sees one photograph of you with like and have been aware of who you are, they can know, like they will, that's you. It's all about that brand identity, that brand recognition, that visibility that you're going to create. And that's coming from assets, creating the brand with photograph, but also with your own text, your own fonts, everything about to do with more the graphic branding part of self, but also with your intellectual property. Anything that you create, is there, are you planning on patterning, on making them trademarking and all of those kind of things. This is where we really get to step forward, because if we want to create that legitimate business that we desire to hold. When you step into that legitimacy of your own business towards legacy, this is that assets are the one of the biggest IP within your own business that is going to play a big role into where you're going to take yourself, and your brand is part of your big IP as well. So it's a big part of you. If you want to step forward, this is where what I feel like, it to me, is the biggest point. The third key is the biggest point: longevity over momentum, hands down. Because what you create today is planting seed for the future, and the future that you desire to create, instead of that direct return right now that may actually die down, instead of planting the seeds to big trees instead of little plants. So it's all about those kind of little keys. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I am looking forward to be sharing more podcasts with you. This one is just a short one, and I'm going to have a couple ones coming forward as well, for you to really step into your own authority, to your own leadership, to your own knowledge of self, so you can really step forward with deep knowing of who you are, where you want to go, and really always anchoring in the outcome of where you are supposed to go. So I'm looking forward to be able to share more about that. I'm going to leave you with this, and I send you so much love, and I talk to you to the next one. Bye.